Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day number 267. The war in Ukraine. Out a couple more days of hunting here, and quite chilly, quite chilly down here in Virginia. With that said, I want to first of all thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for the mods who keep the chat safe. Thank you guys for chatting more. I'm getting more comments all the time, and I love to try to communicate with people and help bring clarity to the world. We're not out to do anything but share the truth and support the wonderful people of Ukraine. So today, day 267, of course, we've been covering the NATO response to the strikes in Poland. We've given pretty good updates on those, and if more come, we will give even additional data. But the bottom line is right now, Zelensky says we didn't do it, and NATO says, well, it was an S-300, and regardless, we're not blaming Ukraine, we're blaming Russia, which is the right response, but we're not going to do anything about it, and that's the bottom line. I'm not going to do anything about it. And of course, with that said, the Russian media goes crazy responding to that. You see, here's the bottom line. Russia does not believe that they are in a war with Ukraine. Russia believes that they are in a war with NATO. And Ukraine, unfortunately, is just being used as a pawn. And each day that this war goes on and on and on, Russia will continue the narrative of the war against NATO. Ukraine will be collateral damage. And the purpose of the war will be to establish a position against NATO. Hopefully, Russia wants to even draw it deeper to completely destabilize the entire region. That's the purpose and that's the plan. Forget everything else that you hear. Now, with that said, of course, the talking heads were going crazy, giving their thoughts on this Ukraine-NATO war. In fact, they said, why do we even need to talk to Zelensky? We're fighting against NATO. Why do we even need to talk to Zelensky? We're fighting against NATO. Let me show you that as we get going tonight.
Главное, адекватная реакция. Почему? Заканчиваю. Потому что НАТО воевать с Россией не будет.
Пока.
НАТО вообще, скорее всего, не будет воевать. Но это не снимает вопрос, о котором мы здесь неоднократно говорили. О том, что возможен ввод международного контингента во главе с США как многонациональных сил без флага НАТО, под национальными флагами. Вот эта опасность существует каждый день. А НАТО не будет воевать с Россией. Они даже не знают дальность наших ракет. Они же думали, что у нас калибры до Сирии летают на 300 километров, а потом они из Каспия прилетели в Сирию. Ой, как это? Они не будут воевать, потому что у нас не только план воздушной атаки на Украину уже 23 февраля лежал на столе в Генштабе, но у нас есть план воздушной атаки на НАТО. И это натовцы прекрасно знают. Они не полезут в эту войну. А многонациональные силы...
Странно, одно они прекрасно знают, а другое они
совсем
прекрасно
не знают, да.
Необоснованную, не спровоцированную войну. Это вранье. Мы не начинали никакой войны. Даже близко. Мы пытаемся ее закончить. Притом война-то уже идет с НАТО. Поэтому зачем, о чем нам разговаривать с Зеленским? О чем?
So, as you can see, this is the Russian viewpoint. This is the propaganda. This is the media. This is nonstop. Whether it's in regard to the strike that hit Poland or any of the other pieces of the war, they're not fighting against Ukraine. You know, I'm trying to remember, isn't it February the 24th that we're coming to liberate Donbass and to denazify Ukraine and demilitarize Ukraine and save our people that will be waiting for us with flowers? And then it was, well, we have a region there called Novorossiya, which is also ours, over towards Zaporozhye and Kherson, so we need to take that. And then we need to eliminate the evil Kyiv regime and set the Ukrainian people free. But now, what do we see? We see that what we've said from the beginning, It's not about Ukraine. Russia is making their move for a new world order. Ukraine is caught in the middle. And it's a very, very sad situation. And we can see, even Solovyov said, why should we even speak to Zelensky? We're at war with NATO. There you have it. Now, today has been another massive attack on Ukrainian infrastructure, this time not on the electrical grid, but actually an attack on gas systems. This has happened throughout Ukraine. People have been injured. I can actually show you one of the strikes from a car that picked it up as he was driving to work this morning in Dnipro. Check this out. This is just a sample of the attacks that is happening all throughout Ukraine. And I want to remind you guys, it's cold there. It's getting very cold there. In fact, Zhenya sent me just a little while ago some of these pictures of the first snows that are beginning to fall in Khmelnytsky, that's snowing in Kyiv. Of course, we know that snow means less than zero. I was talking to Zhenya last night and I said, what's the temperature in your room? He says, well, I have a little heat going, and but the temperature is, I can't remember what he told me in Celsius, but it was 59 degrees Fahrenheit in his home. Folks, for those of you that understand Fahrenheit, and I don't want to misspeak the Celsius, I'm sure you Celsius guys knows, 59 Fahrenheit it's chilly. He says, everything's good, it's warm. This is the winter we're dealing with. But with that said, here we go straight at attacks now. Not at electrical infrastructure, but straight attacks on the gas infrastructure. Zhenya, what do you think? What do you know about the strikes that have happened against the infrastructure, against the gas systems?
The attack on the gas system of Ukraine, it's a sign to the world, not just to Ukrainians, of what kind of tools Russia will use and the pressure to create on the civilian people and to the world to show that they have nothing, no mercy, nothing, no zero human attitude to which should be normal for humans. That they don't care. Is it old people? Is it sick people? Is it kids? Is it hospitals? It's nothing about norms. They just terrorizing the world, and the world experiencing the fear. And the most worrying the moment about that is the messages that some countries are experiencing experiencing difficulties in continuing supplying helping Ukraine with the missiles, with air defense systems, with the shells, and they starting to send the messages that we are a little bit out of reserve, so maybe we will cut it off. So this is what's going on. Russia terrorizing, killing people, and the world started to send these kind of messages. We a little bit out, and there is a potential to cut off Ukraine with that. With the supply for Ukraine would be able to fight and protect their people during that terrorism. And please understand situation when, especially for villages, but in the cities as well, people are using electric systems, and a lot of places are using gas. And for some of the places, the gas is it's vital and not possible for them to survive. And it's already, if the electric system was destroyed and they only have had the gas heating and possible possibility to cook on and so on. And if this system will be destroyed, then it's a terrible situation. And this is a terrible situation. This is what I know. Not much like analytics about the possibilities after that hit, but I know this is terrible.
Another area that I really want to cover tonight and make sure that the world is understanding. And Zhenya, thank you for that answer there. But now I want to talk about power. We've been talking about it. We've been talking about the infrastructure attacks. In fact, it was Dmitry Peskov, who is the spokesman for the Kremlin, who came out today. I'm not even going to show that clown's picture. He came out today and said, we're doing exactly what we want to do. How is that for evil? Freezing people, destroying infrastructure, but telling the world we're doing exactly what we want to do, because this will force Ukraine to negotiate when they have no power, they have no gas, and they're freezing to death. Pure evil. Now, with that said, unfortunately, Ukraine has come out today and said it is ugly. As we were talking about, gas infrastructure has been hit. We have lost, as of right now, 7 people have been killed in the missile strikes today, and many, many, many dozens have been injured throughout Ukraine. Lviv yesterday, or the day before, I want to show you a picture of a power substation. This is what this is what Russia, rather, is targeting in Ukraine, these types of substations. And a representative from Ukrainian Power had to come out today and give an unfortunate update on the power situation. I can tell you right now, I'll show you a graphic right now that shows basically this. There's 3 different phases of the power outages in Ukraine. The first one is when they are doing work and maintenance on the system, you can expect a 4-hour outage. Secondly, it's called a second level repair or second level work. You can expect 8-hour outages. And the third level, and this is unfortunately a lot of what Ukraine is experiencing right now, it is unknown links when they are doing technical work, trying to repair, trying to get the systems back online. As I was telling you, a Ukrainian power representative came out today and had to give the unfortunate news that now we're not talking about how to get it repaired. We're just trying to get some power on for people. And unfortunately, in many cities and regions around Ukraine, the most power that you can expect is 2 or 3 hours at a time, max. Check this guy out.
Тобто зараз треба бути готовим до того, що електроенергії не буде днями.
Так. Ми зараз будемо, на жаль, говорити не про планові відключення електроенергії, а, на жаль, в деяких районах, а їх багато, про планові включення електроенергії. І, на жаль, кількість годин, протягом якого можуть бути ці планові включення, вона поки що дуже коротка. Це 2-3 години максимум.
So let's throw it back to Zhenya now. In Kyiv, dealing with the power outages, you see the information that I just shared. What are your thoughts? How is Ukraine handling this? What is it like with these rolling power outages that they're experiencing?
Okay, power outages, how it affects. Okay, it's probably from one side it's easy to understand that if people having a family here, especially like with the small kids, and there is a lot of reasons why people staying like this in Ukraine. And yeah, surely it's kids getting cold and getting sick sometimes because of the cold, and all the areas of life are affected. And people getting cold, that they cannot rest enough. They worry about their grandparents, the old people. You understand how important having a heat for old people. Here in Ukraine, a lot of people living in a 9 or 10 or 12 or 16 floors building, and so when there is no power, Sometimes for people, especially old, it's like being locked in their apartments, because if the person lives on a 12th floor, just think about to get them in to buy bread or something like this. What about the medicine and the situation, like when the people needs the ambulance and these people living are on the 14th floor? And what about the medics to get the first aid soon? It's terrible. Same with refrigerators. Same with electric transport, the public transport, big buses, electric buses. The post services are partially doesn't work. The part of it. Then the drugstores, to buy medicine, a lot of closed. People cannot get the medicine in time or in their area at all. A lot of services are off, and some places not producing or starting to produce with the limits. Some products, even food products, because they can't keep it like refrigerated sometimes. Or yes, now we have let's say big hunting time for the generators, electric generators, and yes, some companies are trying to buy those and continue working. Okay, if sometimes it affects the whole families, because it can affect let's say preschools, schools, and so on. It's like this line is really long one. And yes, for some of the places, even people getting in the situation without information. It's already, there is people who are sitting like without electricity, not 1, not 2, not 3 days. And if we remember, there is the people who are sitting without electricity in Nikolaev Oblast, for example, since February 26 or March 17. You just think about that. I don't know when it will happen that our guys to fix the electricity there get to there with all of these attacks. It's terrible. Okay, and one more example, car repair services. A lot of them are closed because no electricity. They can do nothing. They can't help people, even volunteers' cars, even military cars sometimes. It depends on what kind of service it needs, but it really affects. And probably if you heard, there were like our doctors in Lviv, they had to finish the surgery on the heart without electricity. This is reality of Russian terrorism. So and at this time, please remember, at this time, a lot of countries still issuing a visa for Russian tourists to have a nice place in the countries, maybe your countries.
Now, I want to jump on to a couple of final topics for tonight's update, and these are actually two major deals that we need to be paying attention to. We really, over the last couple of days, been focusing on Poland, NATO, and the electrical infrastructure. But a couple of things we need and must pay attention to. Number one, in the east, in the Donetsk region, battles are raging. Russia is making a push on the Donetsk line towards Zaporozhye. Ukraine is defending Bakhmut. That's the pushes there that we're having to deal with on both sides. On the south, Ukraine has freed up some territories and moved on the left bank of the Dnipro. They're pushing a little bit outside of Kherson and also making some pushes toward Novokakhovka. These are very, very important places that we pay attention to. I remind you, the front line of this war, it's still 1,000 kilometers long, about 600 miles. This is a big war. Secondly, and we must pay attention to this. I verified this in 2 or 3 sources today, so I'm ready to give it out. But today, I've got it written here, and you're seeing the tweet right in front of you right now. But Israel has given NATO members, including the United Kingdom, permission to deliver to Ukraine weapon systems, fire control, electro-optics that include manufactured or Israeli components. Secondly, it also agreed to purchase strategic materials for the Ukrainian armed forces. Now, this has been verified in 3 sources today when I was looking to make sure before I shared it. Folks, this is a game changer. We've been sharing this entire time that this war is bigger than just Russia and Ukraine, especially with the increase in the activity of Iran over the last 60 days or so with the supply of weapons to Russia. Now, Iran hates Israel. Israel starts supplying Ukraine. Can you see the picture of what's going to happen? We are so close from this mushrooming into a much larger scale event. And I remind you tonight, the re-election of Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, will play, my opinion, but it's pretty simple to see, will play a major role in what happens, not only in Israel and Syria and Iran, but it's going to play a role in this war in Ukraine. Folks, put your belts, tighten them up, because this is a very, very tight situation that we must pay attention to. Israel getting more involved moment by moment. Finally, tonight in the update, I want to share with you guys some statements from President Zelensky. He made some very, very wise statements, and this is not going to be touching the Poland thing. There's a lot of disagreements on that. I'm going to stand by Ukraine. Only when Ukraine comes out and changes, because there's too much stuff out there about the strike in Poland. I don't care what NATO says. I don't care what Biden says. I don't care. I'm paying attention to the Ukrainian armed forces and President Zelensky. He has no reason to lie, nor do the Ukrainian armed forces. They're trying to defend their homeland. When they change the story, we'll change the story. But until then, we're sticking with the story that Zelensky has stated. We stand by it. Now, with that said, Zelensky was speaking today at this economic forum. And folks, he made some very, very strong and provocative statements about the world, about energy, about this event that the end of 2022 and now pushing into 2023 is not just a war between Russia and Ukraine, an invasion of a terrorist nation into a peaceful nation, but this is becoming a global economic and energy war, period. Let's hear what President Zelensky said today.
Росія воює проти електрики і тепла для людей, підриває електростанції і інші енергооб'єкти. Це така повсякденність зараз в Україні через російський терор. Ось чому ми докладаємо стільки зусиль, щоб отримати сучасне ППО і ПРО від партнерів. Плюс постійні бойові дії на фронті довжиною понад 1000 кілометрів. Що це означає з глобальної точки зору? Замість того, щоб вкласти трильйони доларів в розвиток людського капіталу, світ буде витрачати колосальні кошти на переозброєння, додатково, до вже запланованих. Зараз всі уважно дивляться на те, як ми в Україні захищаємось, дивляться, яка зброя найкраща, яка тактика спрацьовує, які оборонні системи дають максимальний результат. Якщо говорити чесно, лише кілька країн могли би зараз захищатися від агресії так само інтенсивно, як ми це робимо. Просто немає стільки снарядів, зброї, але потенційних агресорів у світі і заморожених конфліктів, які можуть розгорнутися знов, все ж більше, ніж таких країн. А отже, є шалений дефіцит безпеки. Тому чим більше форм терору використовує Росія в цій війні, тим більше коштів світ у підсумку спрямує на зброю і на захист від потенційного повторення таких ударів, яких ми зазнаємо. Країна здатна замістити чистою енергією брудне викопне паливо з Росії. У нас величезний потенціал в низьковуглецевій енергетиці. Україна здатна стати ключовим партнером Європейського Союзу для цілей декарбонізації. Ми станемо одним із основних постачальників зеленого водню і зеленої електрики в ЄС. Кліматичні умови України, вільні площі, енергія сонця, енергія вітру дозволять виробляти зелену електрику з дуже конкурентною собівартістю. Лише за 3 роки перед російським вторгненням у нас було збудовано 7 гігават відновлювальної енергетики. Потенціал в рази більше. Плюс Україна може виробляти десятки мільйонів тонн зеленого і дешевого аміаку. Плюс сильні позиції у біоенергетиці, плюс потужна атомна енергетика і енергетична інфраструктура, яка об'єднана з енергомережою Євросоюзу. Аграрний сектор. Світ побачив, що без українського експорту неможливо гарантувати глобальну продовольчу безпеку. Наша експортна зернова ініціатива вже допомагає стабілізації. Але повернення миру в Україні означатиме, що ми зможемо не просто стабілізувати ринок у відповідь на кризу, а гарантувати продовольчу стабільність і недопущення будь-яких криз. Замість того, щоб приділяти максимум уваги зеленій трансформації, різні уряди однаково шукають, як би гарантувати дешевше постачання нафти, газу, вугілля, щоб знизити енергетичні ціни. І так не було би, якби не російська агресія і використання Росією енергоресурсів як зброї. За лічені тижні абсолютно штучно виникла загроза голоду для десятків мільйонів людей. Не через посуху або економічну кризу, а через військову блокаду наших портів. Десятиліттями світ не бачив подібного. Будь-яка нова катастрофа в тій чи іншій країні через високі ціни на їжу або, не дай Боже, через голод – це мінус роки для глобального розвитку. Тому, коли Україна пропонує формулу миру, це дійсно формула миру. Не просто для нас, а для світу. Коли загроза комплексна, то і відповідь має бути комплексною. Простою зупинкою вогню нічого не вирішиш. Саме така наша формула. Треба повертати мир надійно, довготривало. Простим пом'якшенням криз, що спровоковані Росією, не повернеш стабільність. Треба повністю демонтувати кожну загрозу.
So there you have it, guys. That's President Volodymyr Zelensky telling his opinions, telling his thoughts, not only about the economics, but most importantly, calling out Russia as the terrorist state it is, and his final points being no negotiations. That's what he's talking about. No way that we can go back to life as normal. The threat must be eliminated, not only for Ukraine, but for the world. I really pray that the world will pay attention. This man is trying to be a global leader, and we're getting to the point now where this war has went on for 267 days, and it seems like we're wanting to start changing the narrative, going a different direction. My friends, that's not how you win wars. Do not give up. Hang on. It's like Winston Churchill was stating, we'll fight you anywhere, referring to Germany. We'll fight you in the forest. We'll fight you in the cities. We'll fight you in the streets. We're going to stand for liberty. Ukraine is trying to do it, not only for Ukraine, but also for the world. As we're closing out tonight, I had asked Zhenya just a little while ago. I said, man, give us an update on what are you looking at for tomorrow in Kyiv? And he sent me this quick message about winter tires. He had a tough time getting to Kyiv today. And then finally, he put a little collage together showing what life was like and what he's experiencing and what's happening from here. So we're going to flip to that and give you another look at what's going on in Ukraine on this day, day number 267.
And looks like tomorrow is the day when I will try to find winter tires to get to Kyiv on the summer times. On this slippery road, it was a bit of challenge. Yeah, so hope I will find winter tires and somehow get back. Let's look how the morning looked like in Ukraine or the weather in here at first.
It's a new season.
Second, with some of road lights not working, it's another challenge to get to the place. I got to the the other partners who are helping as well as our organization. They needed help with the transportation. They had some the clothes for kids and adults, warm clothes and diapers, and they didn't have a car to transport it at least half of the way to Kiev area. And these clothes had to go to Bakhmut, and they said we really need someone to help. So they asked our organization and me to transport it. Yes, surely we decided yes, surely I will help. So I was loaded, and this morning the whole day it was about that. And right now I'm in Kiev. I brought some extra. I brought some help to one of the military units. It was the set of gas stove and the set of gas cans. Then it was a warm blanket, and it was the wet wipes and other stuff. I don't remember the whole list. And yes, we are doing it as a team. So, and yes, I want look at this, and it's great that we can do it. Oh, and we're bringing some humanitarian aid, helping to deliver it to Bakhmut. Helping, cooperating with other organizations as well. They didn't have the transport to deliver it to the place, and it goes to Bakhmut. So happy to participate. Beside of that, we have shipped the power banks and the set of special batteries for heat vision equipment on the Kherson area to help our guys to stop terrorists on Ukrainian land. And yes, this is a part of our work. And yesterday we've sent some shipment to other guys, with the military guys, with the coffee. Good stuff for them. And tomorrow morning I need to do 2 more things in Kiev, and then we'll go home to starting preparing for the next run. And yes, thank you. Hey friends, and thank you one more time for staying with Ukraine, with our people, our nation, being strong and brave in these times. Thank you for your faithfulness as a partners and supporters. Because of your help, we can do a lot of things here. And thank you for your love and support here. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for your shares. When you're sharing, the other people can know the truth and can see a little bit more of real Ukraine through that. Thank you for your likes. The likes, when you push the like button, it makes this video a bit more popular and available to see. And thank you for your subscriptions, and just thank you that you are here from all the parts of the world. You're staying with us. God bless you richly, and here's a heart from Ukraine. Good night.